Hey guys, it's Squonker, and this is the second video that I'm pre-filming in a row for my book reviews, and the next I have to review, which is number 2, is Secrets for the Mana by Dodie Clark. And I wasn't sent this, but I was given the opportunity to read the advanced reader copy on my Kindle. It was very awkward to read it on the Kindle because there were some moments in the book where it had pictures like this, and they were like sporadic within the Kindle, and I was like, this might look really prettier when I get the finished copy. And this is probably the only advanced reader copy I have received from NetGalley, or like when I used to do it with Anderson's Bookshop all the time, that I got a finished copy for, because I was anticipating Dodie's book and I really loved Dodie's book. And yeah, this actually is the first one of a finished copy that I have received. And yeah, so let's jump right into this. So this is actually Dodie Clark's first book. She has now released 2 EPs. The first one being Intertwined, the second one being You. Hashtag buy Intertwined, hashtag buy Intertwined on iTunes, hashtag buy You on iTunes. Self-plug, because Dodie Clark is literally probably my favorite YouTuber of all time, because she's so real, and like she's really active on social media. So like whenever like she would say that, oh, I got rid of this makeup and now I have to like film another angle for a video, then when she would release the video, I'm like, oh yeah, that's what she was talking about in her Snapchat. Like I feel like I know her on like a personal level, because I do really appreciate Dodie, and I love how like she would practically like spill her life out on it on either Snapchat or Instagram stories, or on Instagram or on Twitter. I love Dodie Clark, and if who is this? If Keywords Press or Simon & Schuster or Dodie Clark or any of Dodie Clark's friends are watching this, hi Dodie, I'm a really big fan of yours and I love it. I love you so much. I've tapped 3 things because I'm considering them for monologues, and that's another new thing I'm doing with books. I'm gonna talk more about this once I film like my bookish my bookish goals or whatever. I think I might do a Get Ready With Me. By the time this goes up, I probably would have filmed it most likely. But yeah, so there's that. So yeah. So basically this is about you go with Dodie, and like she explains everything. She actually does go into like further detail and like a more like explained version of what she has. And she has, I will most likely remember it, but she does have a mental illness, and she does like go into further with it. Oh my god, I feel really bad for like not remembering what it is, because she talks about it every now and then. But it's basically a mental illness where she would feel out of place and she wouldn't exactly know what to do. If I figure it out, like editing Gillian, if I figure this out, I will probably most likely link it or like put what the name is on the like somewhere in the frame, because I can't remember for the life of me what it is. So there is that. So yeah, so I really did enjoy this book. The first chapter actually talks about what's it called, where she meets this girl named Luna. That's not her actual name, but like what's it called? She meets this girl named Luna, and she like also feels out of place, and like she's basically like on the verge of having a panic attack, and she's alone. And Dodie basically goes up to her and talks to her and like tries to comfort her. And in the end of the chapter, she says, "Would you mind if I like to have this moment, this story in my chapter?" And it's really touching to see like the fact that there are people like Dodie who would see if someone is not okay, they would actually go up to them, and that makes me feel happy inside, because that, I don't know, I just find like so much satisfaction in that, and I love it. And I really wish more people were like Dodie, where they see someone who doesn't feel okay and they go up to talk to them about it. It also features some illustrations and some songs. It features some pictures. One of my favorite songs by Dodie is When, which is off of her Intertwine EP, and just look at this. This is a beautiful, I don't know if the camera's focusing right now because I don't know how to do autofocus on my camera. So there is that. And it's just like beautiful illustrations and I love them. And usually I didn't do this for this book, but I did it with the Hamilton book, is when I would play the song while listening to it, and then sometimes like she'll put the song in like that'll coincide with the chapter, and it made sense to listen to it, and she would put on put songs in here, or she'll put poetry in here, and I'm like, wow, this really makes sense with the chapter. Or like if she recorded that song on YouTube, or if she recorded it on her album, then coincided with the with the chapter, then yeah, it'll make sense on why she wrote it. And that's what I really like about it. And another thing too is that she is also a bisexual, and she does talk about her love life, and she does talk about how she found out that she was bisexual, and that's probably, I think it's one of the things that I tabbed in this book. Yeah, she does talk about her love life, and she does talk about how she was in an abusive relationship, and I loved it a lot. I'm not saying I love abusive relationship, but I loved how she would write it, and she will talk about how like she thought that it will be okay and it'll eventually get fine, but really sometimes it doesn't get all too well, or it doesn't end well. And that's what I really like about Dodie, and like she knew off the bat that it wouldn't end so well. And yeah, so the 3 things I tabbed in here, and if I am doing any other book reviews on this channel now, I will be talking about what I tabbed, because I'm going to most likely be using these for monologues that I will be doing for theater auditions. So the first thing I tabbed is The Man I Have Loved, and it's just this little short one, and it just has a man like sitting on top or standing on top of a stool. And another one I have is when she talks about fame, and I think fame is probably one of my favorite chapters within the book, because it does give an accurate like description on fame, and I very much do relate to that, because usually when I like do gigs for cello, people would most likely record me, or they will come up to me and they're like, oh, you're the girl who plays cello at you did it at this and this, and I'm like, yeah, that's me. Usually I'm known for that, or it's usually how like I was in this club at high school, or I did this, or I'm in that. And I very much relate to that, because her level of fame, she's not as famous as like the Paul brothers, who I roll at, but not on the same level as Shane, but like she's very much famous within the indie band music world, and she's also very famous in Britain, where she's from, and she's also famous musically. So when she talks about it, it makes sense, because I very much relate to it, because I think I do have a sense of fame, because I am a teacher's daughter, and my mother brags about me a lot whenever I do it, because I'm the only child. And it makes sense on how she writes it, and I loved it, and I loved how she wrote it, and I very much relate to that. So I might use that for a theater monologue next time. I don't know. The last thing I tabbed is a thing called pain, and this really got to me, because I might actually use this for my monologue for Into the Woods. I don't know yet. Basically, she is typing this actually on her phone while she is getting a wax, and I'm living for it. I thought it was so funny. I thought to myself, this is going to be the comedic monologue that I will be using for my lifetime, and I will most likely use this in my audition, and I will have no regrets, because the audition form said we can use anything and as our monologue, and let me tell you, I found it. I found it. So shout out to Dodie for writing that. But yeah, I very much loved it. I think I obviously rated this a 5 out of 5 stars, because Dodie Clark is my favorite human of all time. And if I did not post it already, this is probably one of my favorite books of 2017 that I read. And I read this like with Turtles All the Way Down. If you haven't watched it, I'll link it somewhere. I read this, and I was also reading Turtles All the Way Down, because I knew I had to read Turtles All the Way Down, or else I couldn't say I read all of John Green's books in 2017. But yeah, so 5 out of 5 stars for this. And yeah, so be sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below if you have ever heard of Dodie Clark. If you haven't heard of Dodie Clark, I will link down her channel. I will also link down her vlog channel that she has, and where you can buy her music from, and yeah. So my name's Gillian. I make videos whenever I can, and yeah, I will see you guys next time.